Anthony, can you explain just you subbing out? Were you hurt? Were you injured? Were you tired?
Man, tired. I ain't gonna lie. That was a lot of running right there, what I did, and I don't think I was gonna be able to go that next play. So I just,
So that was Anthony Richardson explaining his reason for taking a break during the game, which subsequently could have been the play that could have helped the Colts win that game. The Colts ended up losing 23-20 to the Texans, which is going to start off my pick six for week 8. Pick six time, folks. Pick six time. So this is week 8. Another edition of Unscripted 101 podcast. Again, as usual, Spotify, YouTube, Apple. So check it out. If you haven't listened before, if you're a first-time listener, welcome, enjoy. Comments, anything like that, please. It's always welcome. So welcome if you're a first-time listener. If you are a returning listener, big respect. Thank you. Appreciate it. And keep listening. I always got some stuff coming out. So stay tuned. So let me get back to the Colts and Texans. Final score, 23-20. Texans improved to 6-2, undefeated at home. Colts are 4-4. But the biggest takeaway, of course, in the game is Anthony Richardson. And before I even get to that, if you look at the Colts roster, they got a good team. Jonathan Taylor is a legit running back in the league. They got receivers. They got Michael Pittman. I mean, they got Alec Pierce. They got Trey Sermon. Like, they have players. So I just don't understand. And they have a decent offensive line. Overall, they're a good football team on paper, and they have a good roster. I just don't understand. But the quarterback situation, let me get to Anthony Richardson. And I'm not going to sit here and bash the kid. Because a lot of these young generation guys, a lot of them come into the league and they're not ready. He's a guy, Anthony Richardson, I believe, should have sat out the first 2-3 years. And then, you see what happens and then you take it from there. If it doesn't work out, you draft another quarterback. I mean, the Bears did it. They had Mitch Trubisky. It didn't work out. They drafted Justin Fields. Justin Fields didn't work out. They ended up drafting Caleb Williams. The Jets, Zach Wilson. Sorry, let me go before that. And we're talking post, what's my guy's name? Mark Sanchez. Post Mark Sanchez era, they had a plethora of quarterbacks. They went out and they drafted Sam Darnold. Didn't work out. They got Zach Wilson. Didn't work out. Went out and got Aaron Rodgers. Obviously, that's not working out, and I'll talk about that later. They're going to have to draft a quarterback. Sometimes you have to admit that you're wrong. And I'm not trying to throw down Anthony Richardson at all, because I think he's got the potential. But I just don't think he's ready, and I just don't think this is the time for him. And I think the Colts have to seriously look at a few factors here. Is he the guy for this team, number one? Number two, can he lead this team after an incident like that? The man basically said, I need a break, and sat out a few plays. In the NFL, that's a no-no. In most sports, that's a no-no, because you're showing the team that you're not strong enough to battle through the trenches. You can't have that. And I'm sorry. I'm talking about even local sports like myself, coaching. Oh, you know what? Let me just take a bathroom break. Let me just F off and go in the bathroom and just let the team. No, you can't do that. This is when you find out who your warriors are. This is when you find out who your soldiers are in times like this. And right now, Anthony Richardson is not a soldier and he's not a warrior right now. So we'll see how that locker room goes through the rest of the season. But of course, automatically he makes that statement, as you guys just heard, and he's being benched. I'm not surprised. Look for Flacco to finish off the season as the starting quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. So that's my first pick six game. My next one that I'm going to talk about is a pretty interesting one also. The Chiefs and the Raiders. I don't know what's going on with Pat Mahomes, but they're winning games. I mean, he had he threw for 262, 2 touchdowns. Of course, another interception. I think it's like 8 straight games he's throwing an interception. I mean, it's Kareem Hunt, got a rushing touchdown. Travis Kelce finally got his first touchdown of the year. I don't know where he's been all year, but he finally got something. So, the Chiefs are a team that, in my eyes, they could still win a Super Bowl. They got a great coach, a legend, who knows how to figure things out in dark times. You hear about the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, about dark times and whatever, garbage. You got to find a way to win, any way, anyhow. And the Chiefs beat the Raiders 27-20. The Raiders right now, I don't know what's going on. I mean, of course, they traded Devontae Adams, but, it's whatever. You look at Gardner Minshew, and he's 209, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think he did fumble the ball. Yes, he did. I saw that on Red Zone. But I'm looking at their rushing. Alexander Madsen is their number 1 option. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I saw him in Minnesota. He's the number 2. He's a solid number 2. He's not a number 1. They gave him the number 1 reins last year in Minnesota, and he couldn't do absolutely nothing with it. So I don't know how the Raiders thought that he was going to replace somebody like Josh Jacobs. It's just impossible. So Antonio Pierce, shout out to him. He's going to have to figure it out sooner or later, or he's going to be out of a job. You know how the NFL is, and you know how they treat coaches, especially now. So 1 and done is possible for him. Well, not 1 and done, but after his first full season as head coach, it could be a wrap for him very quickly. So stay tuned for that. Game number 2 in my pick 6. Definitely, I got to look at this. I'm going to go with the Bears and Commanders. Very chippy game. Now, everybody's like, oh, yeah, Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is young, so is Caleb Williams. I've been hard on Caleb Williams for multiple reasons, but overall, he's tried his butt off. He has. And Jaden Daniels, same thing too. He's playing with injured ribs. He's come out and played. He's not tapping out. None of these guys are tapping out. They're coming to play. I think this game just came down to play calling, especially in the second half. I don't know what the hell the Bears were doing, man. I don't know what they were doing. I don't know what Matt Eberflus was doing in the second half, and the offensive coordinator. I don't know if Matt Eberflus was the one finalizing the calls, or he was just letting the offensive coordinator do whatever. But it was just absolute incompetence on the Bears' play calling in the second half on both sides, defense and offense. And that last play of the game, that Hail Mary, what was the defense doing? Why were they not, where was the guys to cover the end zone? That was just absolute, that was a travesty. So, I mean, it's unfortunate for them, but at the same time, the Bears need to figure it out. The Commanders basically took that game and walked out with it when the Bears had it. So, Matt Eberflus has a lot of explaining to do to his team. Not to me, not to the media, to nobody. I think the Chicago Bears need to sit down as a team and explain it to each other, because that's a game that they should have had. I'm just saying. The next game is the Cowboys and the 49ers. 2 teams, I don't know what the hell their identity is. One team has a coach who's incompetent, and the other team has just an owner, GM, head of scouts who still believes he's God. He ran out one of my favorite coaches of all time, Jimmy Johnson from the University of Miami, and since then we've seen how that storyline has gone. I just think Dallas needs to blow it up. Get Dak out of there. Get him out of there. No, he's not great, but get him out of there. He needs a fresh start. Sometimes guys are stubborn. I think Dak took the money and didn't take the opportunity to say, you know what? Let me get my ASSS out of this place and try to start all over because it's not working. Clearly, it's not working. His second half was good on paper, but he padded the stats. The game was already over. They just did not have any juice at all to win this game. Even the score itself, 30-24, does not justify the way this game went. Absolutely not. So, and Brock Purdy just did what he had to do. He was very simple, very methodical when he needed to be, and that's about it. There's nothing else I need to say about Brock Purdy. It's just whatever. He had 3 for 261 touchdown. That's all he did. Garando had a rushing touchdown. He had 85 yards rushing. My guy, George Kittle, 6 receptions, 128 yards. I guess today was tight end day because tight ends were going off. Well, sorry, not tight end day. Tight end day on Sunday. But yeah, I don't know. The incompetence of the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys and the incompetence of the owner is just a clash of two airheads. Ugh. I'm sorry. You could get mad at me as much as you want, but that's the reality and the facts remain. Both of these guys have found ways to lose. Consistently. Now, the co-main event of the Pick 6. Let's go to the Jets and the Patriots. The Jets and the Patriots. The Jets and the Patriots. So let me just read this, folks. I want you guys to hear this out. So let me just read this. This I found today. Could not believe it. Data from ESPN reveals that the Jets game against the Patriots is unique in NFL records. Throughout the NFL history, 751 games have been played in which a team has met 3 simultaneous conditions: scoring more than 20 points, committing no turnovers, and allowing fewer than 250 yards to the opposing offense. In every case but one, the team that met those conditions won the game, except for one, the New York Jets. And the New York Jets used all 3 of their timeouts in the first half. Is that Robert Saleh's fault? Is that Davante Adams' fault? Look no further than the head coach, the interim head coach, and the rest of that incompetent coaching staff. Look no further than those boys. And Aaron Rodgers, the fairy tale is over. And Davante Adams goes from one fire to a hurricane because it ain't going to get better. He was not the answer to save the team, but he's not the problem either. And I just feel like the Jets they need to blow it up again. They got to keep going through until they find those players. The defense have the players. The offense, they got to keep going with the quarterback situation. Like I said, the Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson, this one, that one, Geno Smith. I mean, I can go back to the amount of quarterbacks they've had since the Mark Sanchez era when Rex Ryan was coaching that team. It's over. Got to go back into the draft and draft a quarterback. It's okay to admit that you're wrong. Many teams have done it. Many teams. We had to draft J.J. McCarthy as a Vikings fan. Am I a fan of Sam Darnold? No, but he's there for the time, and you got to deal with it. He's playing very well. Sometimes you just need to get out of a bad place. There are some franchises in the NFL right now that are just absolute poo fires. You know what I want to say, but I'm going to keep this PG. Poo fires. And one of them is the Jets. Another one is Carolina. And it just gets even worse as the time flies. And I don't know what to say, but you know what? It is what it is. Next one, final pick 6. The Steelers over a Giants team that they need a new quarterback. They definitely need a new quarterback. I don't know if they're going to fire the coach. He's a good offensive mind, but they need to do something with their quarterback situation. Malik Neighbors is an absolute star. He's a stud. He needs a quarterback. The Steelers, it's good to see Russell doing what he's doing. I mean, we obviously know he's not the future for this franchise, but for the time being, he's making things a lot easier with the offense. You're starting to see guys actually get the ball. I mean, Justin Fields was more of a field general in terms of keeping the ball on the ground, not turning it over. Russell's more, hey, man, let me take some risk here. I mean, Russell threw for 278, one touchdown. Najee got his 114 as usual. I mean, even the Giants, Tyrone Tracy Jr., keep your eyes out on this guy, man. Tyrone Tracy Jr., like he did that to a Steelers defense. He ran 145 yards against the traditional unstoppable Steelers defense, folks. Keep your eyes out for this kid. I like him. I really do. I think he's going to be something special, man. Daniel Jones, come on. By the way, Steelers won 26-18. When are the Giants going to, just like the Jets, both of these teams, quarterback deficiencies are at an all-time high. Don't take it personal. The stats are there, folks. The numbers are right there in your face. And I hate when people get upset and take things personal. And the numbers are right there to show what's going on. So, folks, when you're mad at a situation, here's a few things you do. Number one, go look at the game. Not the highlights, the game in its entirety. The games are available in all sorts of media and streaming outlets to watch. Number two, go online and check the stats. The stats are not a lie. And there's a lot of things about the Giants that are great, but the only problem is their quarterback situation. It's their quarterback situation. Most teams are one quarterback away from winning 10 games to losing 10. The Jets are a perfect example. The Giants are a perfect example. Carolina, it's not a quarterback situation. The owner is a goof. So, it's the NFL is a every week, one game at a time situation, and that's what it is. But folks, that's the wrap up for Week 8, Pick 6. Again, you know where to listen. You know where to check out. I said it at the beginning of the podcast, at the beginning of the cast, as I call it also. So check it out. Thank you for listening. This is Pick 6. This is from Unscripted 101 Podcast. Peace.